the car has gotten more popular. It's gotten a little bit less wagon-y, which I think is one of the things that I really like about it. Like it has always sort of been the sort of spiritual successor to the AMC Eagle, for which I know everyone, I believe, on this podcast has a very soft spot.
Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show on cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, digital executive producer for Fox 61 in Hartford. And joining me from beautiful Denver, Colorado, is my brother Dave and Jeff Buckholtz, who is joining us from Chicago. He is a writer and editor at WBBM in Chicago. Gentlemen, the Subaru Outback has been redesigned. This will not come as a surprise, but it's quirkier than ever. I have mixed feelings about it. I'll let that be said. Jeff, what are you thinking about the new Outback?
The Outback has now abandoned all pretense of its roots as a jacked up station wagon based on the legacy sedan. And it has now sort of gone full on uh, cross, crossover SUV. It is, and I've seen a couple of different trim levels on this already, and it is much blockier than it was. It's a bit taller than it was, though a lot of the height, particularly on the Wilderness package, is sort of created through optical illusions, the big racks and the colored accents sort of drawing the eye up and making it feel like a bigger vehicle than it is. Um, and it is they'll probably sell a bunch of them. Outbacks are pretty popular, particularly popular around here, and certainly in the Northeast. And they'll probably sell a bunch of them. I have always kind of had a soft spot for Outbacks. Subaru wagons were super popular when I was growing up in northern Michigan. Uh, Certainly for the all-wheel drive, and the gas mileage was really good, and people really liked them. And some years later, I was in Michigan for a wedding, and I was driving. I'd rented a Subaru Outback at the airport, and I was driving to the wedding in the middle of an ice storm, and I'm convinced that that car saved my life
Yeah.
because as I was driving down a surface street, I was feeling the I could feel the symmetrical all-wheel drive hunting for purchase on something, and just sort of I can feel the torque going to the front and then to the back and then to the front. I'm like, oh, I should slow down. And in fact, I've always loved that particular generation of Outback. As the car has gotten more popular, it's gotten a little bit less wagon-y, which I think is one of the things that I really like about it. Like it has always sort of been the sort of spiritual successor to the AMC Eagle, for which I know everyone, I believe, on this podcast has a very soft spot, um, because it was really the sort of crossover. And in many ways, I think that probably the preferred form factor for that thing. And now it's just like, nah, the heck with it. We're gonna be this. It feels like it's more designed to take on the Mazda CX-50, which I think is a superior car in virtually every way, and other cars that may reside in that area. The legacy sedan is gone, which is too bad. Um, it runs the risk of getting sort of lost with the Impreza Crosstrek, which is a very attractive car, and is a pretty decent size as well. And then the Forester, which they just rolled out more Forester trim levels here in Chicago back in February. And then, of course, the Ascent, which is the granddaddy of them all, or at least the biggest one. I don't really know where the Outback fits anymore in the
Mhm.
pantheon of Subaru crossovers, but they'll probably still sell it because that name has become solid gold in terms of marketing and public image, really.
Yeah.
But I think something's been lost. But of course, Subaru will probably prove me wrong.
Dave, what are you thinking about the new Outback?
Well, I live in Colorado, so I am in the Subaru state. And
That's on the
I
license plates, right?
yeah. So and what I actually see every once in a while I see an eagle.
Oh,
It's
really?
like the remaining eagles I assume are all registered in Colorado.
Hmm.
I think people bought them new and are like, yeah, I'm gonna keep
Still
this.
have them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
probably one mechanic who's still like, yeah, I know.
And he probably lives in Fort Collins, and
Yeah,
everyone makes the trek up there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, Joe. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, uh, so you put some skis on it and that's all you need.
yeah. I just wonder. I always felt like they had a good niche with like that buyer who's like, I don't want an SUV. Well, this isn't really an SUV, and now it edges closer to that. And I don't know. I just felt like somewhere, and I've wrong on the numbers, I'm sure, but like 90% of all station wagons sold in this country were Outbacks or
Hmm.
some ridiculous amount of number out
Yeah.
there. And so if you own that market, why move away from it?
Yeah.
I
Why
don't
would
know.
you monkey with it? Yeah.
Right. Um and and there was I really love the legacy wagon. You saw that in black with some nice wheels on it. That was a hell of a good looking car.
Yeah.
Um, and so okay, so why anyway? I don't know. The what was the other thing? I'm I think with my 2012 Subaru, that was the last really good looking Subaru.
Hmm.
I'm going to commit to that. I think they've just gotten too busy, too quirky, too, oh, let's do this, or let's put a big block of black plastic someplace. I read someplace a while back that the piece of cladding that goes between the wheels under the door panels is designed to look like the sole of a hiking boot.
Oh,
And with all the big notches and all, and like
Mhm.
this, and all this stuff, and I'm looking at the wilderness trim and like all the little gold things, like uh,
There's a lot going on.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and then you have is this one of them has either the new Forester, or this has like a ruler in the window trim. It's marked in demarcation.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's this one, not the Forester, right?
I think it's the Outback. Yeah.
Yeah, and the little Easter eggs, which are cool. I mean, I don't feel like they distract too much, but I don't know. It just feels like a lot, you know. And I I had one as a rental once. I liked it. I like my Subaru. Um, I the all-wheel drive is virtually invisible,
Hmm.
which is what you want. I don't have to think about it. So I'm a Subaru fan, even though I am in the process of selling it because I bought a Honda CRV. So anyway, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different pieces there that are going on. So
Yeah. It, they will sell regardless. A, it's an Outback, and B, um, they are sold well. The one of the most popular exhibits every year at the Chicago Auto Show is the Subaru booth. It's very well designed and
mhm.
it's got tons of outdoorsy stuff, but it also has puppies that are available for adoption because the Subaru marketing team is not staffed with idiots. They
No,
understand
no.
their their appeal and their niche, and you see it in all of their advertising, like in all those commercials, like the one that I see online all the time with the golden retrievers driving and the little golden retriever puppy in the back in the child seat asking to hear the song over again. I mean, they know who they are, and they do donate a lot of money to the National Parks Foundation and other charities and that kind of thing. Like, they certainly understand the importance of selling a lifestyle or a something more than just a car. They also do have a reputation for reliability, although my argument is that they are reliable because they are sold to people who are likely to maintain them well.
Mhm.
I don't know that they are very good at shrugging off
No.
scheduled maintenance or surviving through deferred maintenance the way Toyotas often do and Hondas often do or are asked to do, or even like a lot of GM cars, and I've made this joke on the podcast before, a GM car will run poorly longer than most cars will run at all. Um, but I mean, but they certainly have that reputation. And I think, they'll sell them regardless, but they're not, the Outback is not the car that it once was, for sure. By the way,
I
do you
think
all remember the Outback sedan that they had for like
yes.
a generation?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was, now if that, I mean, that was AMC Eagle coated
Yes, it
like
was.
crazy.
That certainly was. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If only
Um,
they had made an SVX Outback. By God, the Dakar edition SVX. I'd have bought that.
with the half window, the quarter window.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. I somebody, a friend of a friend had his. It was a friend of a friend. His brother had one, and
Mm.
like showed up. There was a party or something, and this guy showed up with this thing, and he was all like, yeah, like I'm going to be over here because I don't want to laugh in your face. And again, here's Subaru and it's all its quirkiness, what the XT4, is that the other
That
one
was the
that
one
was
before the SVX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
digital dashboard and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
The
well,
like asymmetrical steering wheel that
Yeah.
like they cribbed from Citroen.
yeah. And Jeff, you mentioned the advertising. They have always known their niche, right? The
They know their
classic,
lane, man. Yep.
the classic marketing to gay men and lesbians
Hmm.
with the two Subarus in the back, with the license plate. One was Xena and one was P-Town,
Yeah, that's right.
and it's a
That's
classic,
right. Yep.
marketing strategy, the case study,
Yeah, the
which
wink and
I,
the nod to the careful viewer, very much so.
Mhm.
Yeah, in the way that one like golf ad from years ago, the super gay coded where the guys find the chair and then they put
Yeah,
it in the back of the golf and they realize it stinks and they throw it back out. Like,
yeah.
you know, that was,
And I remember watching that commercial specifically, and it was in the coming out episode of Ellen,
right.
and I remember watching it real and thinking that's their boyfriends. That's exactly what.
Yeah,
But I talked to a straight guy the next day. He goes, "Oh no, they were roommates."
yeah, yeah. That's the brilliance of the ad.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like they were whoever you wanted them to be, or whoever in your experience, in your sort of whatever your universe was, that's who they were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I was talking with the owner of the local Subaru dealership a couple weeks ago, for an episode on tariffs, and he was saying that uh, the largest Subaru dealership, I'm gonna, it was somewhere in the Sun Belt. Largest Subaru dealership in the country is the largest one in the Sun Belt. Is one
Hmm.
in the Sun Belt, and I'll go back and find it and put it up here. Um, but he said that they're not just you know the northern half of the country anymore.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
pretty wide ranging, which I didn't realize. I thought, oh, that's good for
Oh,
them.
yeah. I mean, that's, shows how well they're being sold.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
and I believe the Outback is built in Indiana.
Lafayette, that's correct.
Yep. And about 50% of their inventory, of their um, lineup is um, domestic, and 50% is from Japan,
Hmm.
which puts them in good position.
Yeah, it certainly could. They certainly have the potential to dodge a number of, things that could come depending on, where the administration's trade policy is at any given moment.
And it
And
does seem to shift.
we've learned not to predict any of that.
They a little bit of I do these interviews, and with whoever, and then
Mhm.
pray that it lasts for 40 years.
Yeah, yeah. Get that thing up online in a hurry.
No, it's gotta run tonight. It's gotta run tonight.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else about the Subarus that we want to talk about?
They have an electric Solterra, which is
They in fact do.
And they have a bigger
That's right.
I think a 3-row SUV coming out, which again is sort of a benefit of their tie-up with Toyota.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I think there's a lot of love for the BRZ twins. Right?
Yeah, although I think I kind of feel like everyone who wants one has one. Like, it's a great car, but it's also a super niche car. I mean, there's a reason that virtually no one else is selling, two-place sports coupes anymore.
Yeah.
Except for the friendly folks at the Mazda dealer down the street.
Right. Well, and we love, Miata is always the answer,
Yes.
as we've established in a previous episode of this podcast.
All right. Well, good for them. Hope it sells well. That's another episode of Car-Pinionated. Remember that you can watch our past episodes on our YouTube page, our YouTube playlist. It's actually a playlist. I keep calling it a page, but it's a playlist. Look up Car-Pinionated, and there you will find them. And with that, we will bid you a fond farewell.